The automotive industry is absolutely on fire, and they are moving at a speed that is unheard of. We will actually see that dream start to become a reality because, again, you are giving a consumer the experience they want beyond just the basic driving experience.
Behind every dashboard, every ADAS feature, every HMI, every EV battery lies a human story. I'm Stéphane Lagrelle, and this is Automotive Storytelling, brought to you by the Storytelling Tribe, a podcast where we uncover the narratives that drive automotive innovation. I spoke with Andrew Teal, General Manager of the Secure Platform Division at Trustonic, and he'd been watching the Chinese automotive push with a particular eye. Andrew, thank you so much for joining Under the Hood Automotive Storytelling. Maybe just to refresh the memories of our audience, can you introduce yourself very quick?
So my name's Andrew Teal. I'm the General Manager of the Secure Platform Division of Trustonic, and I'm based in the UK.
Trustonic is a supplier of, let's say, security technologies for a very long time. But the conversation we have had so far is that you see an evolving role of what you're doing towards consulting. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
So for a lot of companies, security, while recognized as being extremely important, it's still something of a dark art or a black box. Add to that in automotive now, as we have all the regulations starting to really impact the development life cycle of the vehicles. The OEMs are starting to look at more advanced use cases for their specific customer base, and that leads them to need more in terms of specific platform configurations around security or new capabilities to be added. One of the challenges that I find is that expertise is not naturally widely available inside the industry as a whole, let alone inside individual OEMs or tier ones. So we're finding that although we provide a platform, a lot of our customers are now looking for that security to tie into their specific customer experiences, whether it's for the driver, for the front passenger, or for the rear passengers. And we are definitely seeing that those three zones are starting to take on a life of their own. And that includes the types of services and the security wrapped around.
But would you say that this is also, let's say, a symptom on how the industry is moving towards, where the industry is moving towards, meaning that the industry has more collaboration and sees the different actors of the industry in a different way that they used to?
I think so. A few years ago, we would have been talking about the supply chain. I think now we talk about the ecosystem, and that's a measure of how rapidly things are starting to change. With the number of challenges that are facing the automotive industry, from connectivity to software-defined vehicles to AI to the back-end cloud systems. These are big, major strategic investments, R&D intensive, financially and people-wise. So I think that is driving collaboration, but it's also driving a recognition that innovation and inspiration can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But to harness that, you have to be more open. If you think about in my area that I'm familiar with, security in automotive used to be through isolation. Different network buses did not talk to each other. CAN codes were unique to every OEM and typically every model line within that OEM's platform. And that meant if I was a third party and I wanted to help you as an OEM, it was incredibly complex and a very, very steep learning curve. Now we're starting to see, and I think particularly with SDVs, that it's moving towards the idea of common APIs, common policy management strategies, common building blocks, both at the hardware and the software level. And that allows the industry as a whole to say to OEMs, from the design stage onwards, we have these great ideas. Do you want to include them? But in the late stage of development, maybe 6 months before you launch, you can still accommodate new concepts, new ideas, because you have that open architecture. And that means also for testing, you don't have to do 18 months of testing anymore.
So would you say that the complexity that has been increasing tremendously over the last decade in the automotive industry has been driving not only the need for more collaboration, but also the understanding from the OEMs that there was value in actually being very open in collaborating?
Absolutely. I would say if we take a look at what's happened in China, Chinese automotive industry is absolutely on fire. Here at the Mobile World Congress, we're seeing, Xiaomi has some very, very impressive hypercars on its stand. You're looking at some of the other brands that are here, like the BYDs, etc., very impressive vehicles. And they are moving at a speed that is unheard of. How are they achieving that? Well, they're learning from other industries. They're pulling talent from other software industries, like the mobile industry.
Yeah.
And that's allowing them to take on board those learnings, but also to say to their partners in other verticals, come with us on this journey. And I think that's now being seen and recognized around the world, that there is this big shift. Things that were unconscionable 10 years ago. The idea of, collaboration maybe with other OEMs, like we're seeing in the EV space, like we're seeing in, these software-defined vehicle platforms, are happening, and they're becoming natural. We're seeing more openness in standards bodies. We do a lot of work in global platform around security standards. And we've seen over the last year major OEMs like Stellantis and Toyota joining and coming together and being very open about their needs and what they want, these open APIs, so that their ecosystem can engage. And I think it's a huge shift. It's a big mindset shift.
And how good is this for the consumer at the end of the day?
I think it's massively positive. The consumer is driven by, unfortunately, for automotive OEMs, experiences they have outside of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And, we've seen that from the phone, the experiences of the phone leaping in to the vehicle. So Microsoft Teams, for example, on your head unit, Google applications and services. So we're seeing all these other big players in the software industry coming in. But for a consumer, they don't want to understand the technology and they don't want to understand the life cycles and the timelines behind it. What they look at is a utility benefit. And so the more open we see the OEMs and the platforms become, then I think that will drive more consumers to their vehicles. It will drive more engagement with their brand. And I think when we talk about this monetization of digital services, we will actually see that dream start to become a reality, because again, you are giving a consumer the experience they want beyond just the basic driving experience.
Remember that behind every dashboard and every feature lies a human story. And those are the stories we are committed to uncovering here on Under the Hood. I'm Stéphane Lagrelle. Thanks for listening.